I was trying so many different things, quietly hoping someone would finally connect the dots and just tell me what was happening to me. Because more than anything, I just wanted to feel like myself again. And honestly, I was terrified that this was just going to be my new normal. Have you ever felt like your body suddenly stopped being able to keep up with the life that you've been carrying? Like you've spent years of achieving and accomplishing so much while pushing through the stress, taking care of everyone else, holding everything together, functioning under this constant state of pressure. And now your body suddenly feels exhausted, inflamed, really emotionally reactive, overwhelmed, and just really unlike yourself. Because I think so many midlife women are trying to heal while still living inside the same levels of stress, over responsibility, emotional pressure, hypervigilance, and exhaustion that helped create the depletion in the first place. And you're quietly thinking, what's happening to me? Not because of any one symptom, but because your entire body and honestly just the way you're experiencing life and yourself suddenly started feeling really unfamiliar. And maybe one of the hardest parts is you have actually tried really hard to take good care of yourself. You've cared a lot about your health and you tried to do all the right things. You have tried the supplements, exercise, better routines, healthier eating, and really just trying harder to get it all right. And your body still feels like everything shifted beneath you. Honestly, I think so many midlife women are quietly walking around carrying this exact experience right now, not just physically, but emotionally too. Because this is about so much more than just symptoms. It's about suddenly not feeling like yourself anymore. It's about wondering why everything feels so much harder now. And it's about looking at your life and thinking, why can't I handle things the way that I used to? So today, I really want to talk about this because I think understanding what may actually be happening underneath all these changes can begin shifting women out of shame and into some clarity. I can remember carrying so much shame around how emotionally reactive I had become towards really everyone. I was snapping at the people I love over little things, and what made it harder was that I knew those moments didn't feel like me. It felt like my nervous system was constantly on edge, and no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't control it. I just couldn't seem to settle back into myself. And underneath that was a lot of shame and this constant layer of exhaustion and overwhelm that I was carrying around almost every single day. But at the time, I didn't know how to slow down or handle things any differently. I didn't know how to stop pushing through. And I wasn't sleeping well between the night sweats, the racing thoughts, replaying every single conversation and how I had responded throughout the day, and then mentally trying to keep up with everything that I needed to remember for the next day. And physically, my body felt like it was struggling in ways that I had never experienced before, things I never expected. I had debilitating gut issues, pain, and inflammation that felt completely unfamiliar to me. And honestly, that part was especially hard because I had always prided myself on having a high pain tolerance and being someone that could handle a lot and push through things. But suddenly, the energy, drive, and capacity I had always depended on felt like they were all disappearing. And I remember constantly researching, going to different doctors who were running all sorts of tests. I was trying so many different things, quietly hoping someone would finally connect the dots and just tell me what was happening to me. Because more than anything, I just wanted to feel like myself again. And honestly, I was terrified that this was just going to be my new normal, that this level of exhaustion, pain, overwhelm, and disconnection from myself was just what the rest of my life was going to feel like. I wanted to feel present in my own life again, and I was terrified that maybe that version of me was gone for good. Like somehow I had lost myself along the way. And I think one of the hardest parts for me personally was just not understanding why any of this was happening. So I blamed myself, because when symptoms start stacking on top of each other, it doesn't just affect your body. It affects your confidence, your relationships, your ability to show up the way you want to, your sense of identity. And I think that's the part many women, especially high achieving women, are quietly grieving, not just feeling tired, but feeling so disconnected from the version of themselves that had served them well for so long. Women I work with have shared things like this with me. I used to be so outgoing, and now I don't even really want to be around people anymore. I feel like I'm letting everyone down. Or I stop mid-sentence sometimes and I can't even remember what I was saying. And I sit in my car after work, trying to convince myself that I do have enough energy to go inside my own house. And honestly, I think so many women are quietly wondering, am I just becoming lazy? Am I becoming weak? Am I broken? Why does everything suddenly feel so overwhelming? But so often, it's really not that their bodies are failing them. Their bodies are just really overloaded. And I think that distinction matters so much, because midlife is not just a hormone shift. It's often the first time many women's bodies can no longer compensate for years of chronic stress, overfunctioning, pushing through exhaustion, carrying their own emotional weight and the emotional weight of their families, friends, and maybe even some coworkers, suppressing their own needs and living in constant pressure and staying in survival mode for far too long. And then the hormonal shifts get layered on top of all that. And suddenly the body starts responding louder, not because it's betraying you, but because it can no longer continue operating under the same levels of depletion and overload. And for myself and many other women, there are also inflammatory and autoimmune patterns underneath all of this that may have been quietly building for years. I think many women have spent years living in a constant state of just keep going, push through, don't slow down, take care of everyone else first, until one day the body starts saying, I can't keep doing this anymore. And honestly, I think this is where so many women feel frustrated and confused, because they keep trying to fix symptoms without truly understanding the deeper stress and nervous system load underneath those symptoms. And this is why so many women say, I'm doing everything right, but I still feel terrible. Because healing is not about adding more. And I think it's also why so many women feel overwhelmed while trying so hard to heal. Because when the body is already exhausted, overloaded, inflamed, and stuck in survival mode, constantly adding more protocols, more pressure, more information, and even trying to force deep emotional healing can sometimes create even more overwhelm inside an already depleted nervous system. Sometimes what has to come first is building capacity, helping the body slowly experience more safety, support, rest, and regulation, so it no longer feels like it has to constantly brace just to get through the day. Because healing is very difficult when the nervous system still feels overwhelmed all the time. Often, what the body needs first is just space, support, recovery, restoration, and moments where it no longer feels like it has to brace for everything all the time. And I think that's the conversation so many women are missing, because so many women are trying to heal while still living inside the same levels of stress, over responsibility, emotional pressure, hypervigilance, and exhaustion that helped create the depletion in the first place. And that's why this conversation matters so much. If you've been feeling exhausted, emotionally reactive, foggy, inflamed, overwhelmed, or just really unlike yourself lately, I really want you to know this. You are not crazy. You are not weak. And you are not failing. Your body may just be responding to years of accumulated overload, inflammation, stress, hormonal shifts, emotional pressure, and nervous system depletion. And understanding that changes the way you begin supporting yourself. So for today, maybe the first shift is simply beginning to notice how often your body feels like it's bracing, rushing, pushing, or surviving throughout the day. Because awareness is often where healing starts. And next week, I really want to talk about why self-care isn't working for so many midlife women. Because so many women are trying so hard to feel better, but their bodies still feel really stuck. And there's a deeper reason for that I think almost nobody is talking about. If this episode resonated with you, I would love for you to subscribe and stay with me throughout this series, because my hope is that women stop feeling so alone in what they're experiencing and finally begin understanding what their bodies may actually be asking for. If today's conversation resonated with you, I really hope it helped you feel a little less alone in what you may be experiencing right now, because so many midlife women are quietly carrying exhaustion, inflammation, overwhelm, brain fog, and emotional changes without fully understanding what's happening underneath it all. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I'll see you in the next episode. Take a breath, trust your body, and let's rise together.